All
Hello,
right.
all you
Hello.
beautiful people. Welcome to Quackengrad's retirement home for rando 3 runners who remember what the acronym MSJP stands for. No, hello everyone. I'm super excited to be commentating this match. We got FalconHit and JasonILTG versus Jettfire44 and Cthulhu. I'm Quack. With me on the mic is the one, the only, the dancing grad.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. This is match number 49. This is the losers round 4. And we have an amazing match in store. We have all majors. So we're going to be collecting all 46 items from these random places on the map, in addition to going for a true ending here in the Hollow Knight randomizer. In addition to that, our runners have chosen 3 sets of gimmicks. We are going to have Not Swim and Not Tear, which we can talk about when we get there. They've randomized lore tablets and Georocks as well.
And Georock's, of course, a special and noteworthy sort of affair because we are looking at some runners and randomizer players who are at the birth of Georock's in randomizer as we get the runners counted down and into the match here. So starting off, of course, scatter nested with a split between Green Path and Fungal. Green Path is, of course, noteworthy in Georock Rando because it goes from being a very sparse area to actually having quite a bit to do.
Indeed.
But yeah, looking at some of the history among these runners, Jason, of course, famous for initially developing the planned randomizer, requiring knowledge of every single Georock location in the game in order to complete. As we get some of the initial movement here in Fungal on both sides, it looks like Falcon taking a similar path to Math here.
We do have Math struggling a little bit in Sport Gauntlet, but that's okay. Sport Gauntlet never killed anyone. Don't worry about it.
Never, especially not movementless altogether.
So true. So true. But yeah, Georocks, I think, what is the number? Does it add like something like 250 checks to the pool or something like that?
Yeah, it is a rather substantial increase. That 250 number sounds right to me.
Thank you, Colette, with the now patented Colette skin check in chat. We've got Jet in Killer Whale. We've got Math in Zack Knight 2.0.
We also saw Resting Ground Stag a moment ago on now both teams' sides. Looking at the board a little bit here for our major item tracker as we get through some of this opening movement, what's jumping out to me is even in a randomization, including Georocks, we are looking at White Palace 5, which is exciting and a little bit spicy, as well as Dirtmouth 1, which is always a bummer because there are some wonderful checks in Dirtmouth, especially some of the buried ones, as it looks like Jason taking an unfortunate death there.
But that's okay. But yeah, thinking also about the settings, looking at what's actually randomized, I think the only things not randomized are Whispering Roots and Grimkin Flames in terms of items that are randomized. So even more surprising that we've got such a heavy concentration in White Palace.
And of course, for those not familiar with the settings for this tournament broadly, beyond the gimmicks that we've already laid out, grubs are, of course, inter-randomized just amongst themselves and mimics so that they can be appropriately item synced. However, if blue team doesn't save somewhere on the order of 25 grubs between them minimum, it feels like a little bit of a letdown for their personalities as runners.
We just got dive from Jet, very well timed for Math in Resting Grounds, but we're about to see what is at in Sports Room as well.
Yeah, early Sports Room nice for a fungal start on half the team.
Wings and Claw at Essence. Wow.
All right, Seed knows what it wants.
Who rolled the seed? Jeez, come on.
It was Grad.
It was me. I apologize in that not really sort of way.
No, never apologize. It's actually perfect for this. This commentator humbly believes that stacking your shops to all get out is actually the best way to operate a randomizer. So this is perfect.
So true. All right, so we have red in Queen's Gardens as well as Green Path. And now they're about to find out what's in Resting Grounds as well.
Yeah, I missed the exact essence counts for the vertical, so it'll be good to get another check at that.
Yeah, I missed them as well. All I saw were the names, and I was like, whoop. Ooh, we got a Pale Ore from Math. That's good.
Yeah, Pale Ore, of course, with the major items tracker omitting a couple of things that are typically important in these sort of randomizers. The most infamous that we have seen over the course of this tournament to date is going to be that Pale Ore. With the settings we're playing on, there are, of course, 2 duplicate Pale Ore beyond the normal pool. However, sometimes that Nail 4 check can hurt just a little bit to actually acquire. And it's only been vertical, what, like a handful of times?
Only a handful. I think we have, is it Emo who's tracking how many Pure Nail seeds we've gotten?
Yeah, that number is somewhere in the mid 2 digits now, right? Or like above
Must
10.
Be.
Like,
must be. The real question is it going to be Nail 4 and Flower in the same seed? Who knows?
if we're doing one long shot call, I would very much like that Dirtmouth 1 to be the best boss in this or any other video game.
Aha, and who would that be, Quack?
That would, of course, be... I don't actually remember the full title. I'm not going to go for it. Terrifying, beautiful, powerful, Grey Prince.
Add as many positive adjectives as you want. He's probably going to be correct at some point.
Yeah.
GPZ. It's like 34%. Oh my gosh. I love it. Nail 4 will indeed hurt you. So true, chat.
Yeah, we've got Math setting up a Shade Skip here to go to Leg Eater. All right, Monarch Wings at 1250 and Claw at 1360. Amazing.
Oh,
so both kinda distant, although with you got a fair amount of essence randomized in here. So not impossible that we see that on a decent time frame, but still, that's incredibly funny to see very early on in the seed.
That is a lot.
And it begins with the 100 essence there for blue team.
Slowly but surely, we'll make our way there. All right, we have Math seeming to go towards the Mantis Claw area.
Yeah, and did Math check Leg Eater? It looked like I thought for a moment he was setting up a Shade Skip to get there, but then just opting for lower fungal instead, it looks like.
He failed the Shade Skip, so I think just for time's sake, it's probably opting for lower instead. Right, we have Jet and Jason continuing to clear out Green Path, which has so many checks with Georox randomized and lore tablets as well.
Yeah, meanwhile, Falcon grabbing Elevator Pass there at the Dreamnail check. Dreamnail is the check itself is a bit of a contentious one, especially when you don't have much in the way of movement because of just how long it is for the one check, but Elevator Pass is part of the holy grail of combination. Like, being able to open up the right side of the map is, of course, huge in Rando, so much so that great effort has been put into Rando 4 to make it harder to have unfettered right side access.
Yeah, I do believe Math did go into Crypts instead of checking Dreamnail, so they do not have Elevator Pass, as far as I understand.
Yeah, given the Resting Grounds numbers.
Yeah, okay.
Looks like Elevator Pass is the last one. Elevator Pass, Claw, and Wings. You know, nothing too important in your Resting Grounds. Wouldn't worry about it.
All right, we've got Falcon going into the area above King Station. And we've got City 4, so who knows where those 4 majors are going to be. City is rather big, a rather large area.
Yeah, lots of nooks and crannies in city that are in a lot of mines, or at least mine, sort of nominally separate areas in their own right. But because of how expansive city is, honestly, a little bit strange to see it as low as 4, especially with KE7,
Yeah.
White Palace 5.
Yeah, very true.
And it looks like we have a pause from our runners here.
Oh, yep. Oh, looks like some things happening behind this. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, everyone. Taking a pause here.
Thank you, chat, for bearing with us. All right. So here is the situation, friends. It looks like we are going to have to restart that game, as unfortunately the the grad seed is a seed that has been played on in practice before by some of our competitors here. So there's an unfortunate miscommunication, which led to us not fully updating the seed. So we're going to get that re-rolled. Banish the beautiful all shops progression from your mind, chat, and pray that we will see it again in the form of Grubfather with the next one.
In my defense, this is why you don't trust me with anything, because I mess things up. I'm sorry, everyone. It's my fault.
No worries. It means we got to see some beautiful, beautiful content for a moment. The racers are in the Tournament Races channel discussing the seed as they recalled it right now. But we're gonna get this restarted in very, very quick fashion for you all.
Yeah, the reason why it took a few minutes to realize what was happening is because in practice, the runners actually had the opposite starts. So it took a few minutes to realize what was going on. So how's everyone in chat doing? Hello.
Yeah, chat, we are aware of the stuttering issues with Jason's stream. It looks like it's something that's a problem at the level of their stream, so we're going to try to work around it as best we can, but there may not be much that our lovely restreamer can do.
I'm going to click back into the restream channel and stay far, far away from any seed rolling.
It's okay. I want the energy of the grad seed to carry forward into this next one.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Which shop will it be? We'll find out.
Grubs. Chat, be sure to post your favorite shop to have major progression at while we get our restart going on here. GPZ is also my favorite shop. It's true.
So true. All right, it looks like our runners have restarted. Yes, we have them clicking in.
Crossroads 10. All right, we are cooking with gas here. Did we secretly give them a grub hunt seed? I'm excited.
Oh my gosh. And we still have Queen's Garden 0 as well, so yay. Oh my gosh.
UG 0, Fog Canyon 0. Yeah, all right. This is a spicy, just looking at the majors. I'm real excited. Grad said, I am abstaining, and Quack said, all right, let me take a crack at it. 3
Here we
majors at
go.
Grubs minimum, or I resign.
Oh my gosh.
And still getting a good amount of content. Honestly, I feel like in a Georox randomizer, seeing White Palace 3 is still fun and
Yeah,
flirty and cool to me.
for sure. 6 in Peak. That'll be interesting. Lots of rocks there in Peak as well. All the 10 Crossroads majors at Georox.
I would not wish that on my worst enemy, except for the funny Georock underneath the tram. That's a good Georock. That's my favorite Georock in the game.
That is a good Georock.
All 10 Crossroads majors at Grubs, have I got a deal for you? All right, looks like we are getting going here. Runners unpausing, Green Path start and Blue Lake start. And to reinforce the retirement home vibes on the mic here, my immediate thought was to yeet oneself into the water, which of course cannot be done.
Amazing.
In fact, cannot be done ever with no swim and tier.
Very true. Yeah, the way that not swim and not tier work is that you will hazard respawn, but not take damage if you have that item. If you don't have the item, obviously you'll take the damage. But yeah, that requires some skips. It requires some knowledge of how to get past bodies of water and bodies of acid. So be quite content when we get there.
Yeah, I feel like no swim, no tier is one of the more popular gimmicks, especially as we move later in the tournament, because people really enjoy their acid skips and their blue acid skips.
So true.
And so forcing those logically is good fun for runners and viewers alike. Yeah, and Green Path's still looking like a respectable area. 4 is not too bad. Again, Georock buff to the area as a whole for sure.
Both runners seem to take, or all runners seem to take generally similar paths, or paths we might expect.
Yeah, but which team is gonna check Grubs first? Make my day. There's a C-Dash at Dirtmouth Stag. That is an interesting first major movement item.
Horizontal.
Yeah, it is actually a little bit unfortunate because the major thing I think of C-Dash as being useful for... Oh, and there's Dive too, okay.
Well, there
this
you go.
rando steed is continuing to be a quack seed. We hate Mila right out of the game. But I would say the thing I think the thing I most associate with C-Dash in Crossroads is being able to access Salubra cheap and easy, but of course with Blue Lake Start, that's not an issue.
Very true. However, C-Dash in Crossroads means you can do the C-Dash, which is delightful.
It is true, but probably going to eschew that in favor of a few more check-dense areas here.
Very true.
Especially with Georocks along the way of the C-Dash, that is an unfortunate consideration of the randomization settings.
Early resting grounds? Did we miss a... oh, right, because C-Dash gives you access to resting grounds with a Blue Lake Start.
Yeah, it could be Seer again. Actually, to what extent could it be Seer again? We've got 2 in resting grounds. It could be Claw and Wings again. You never know.
Possible. Distinctly possible. We got Falcon skipping up. Or opening up. Flowing Womb. Can you get up there without infection? Perhaps not. Okay.
And an early Howling Rates in Green Path as well. I'm a fan generally of seeds where that's your first spell, just on the raw combat merits of it, but especially if we see an early Kingsbrand anywhere here. Although I don't want to overstate the blessings of the content this seed.
All right, we got rates for blue as well. Falcon making short work of False Knight.
Yeah, while of course dying to False Knight is a tournament-winning strategy. Cross that off your bingo cards, Rando 3 remembers. But it is considerably harder to execute said strategy when you have Wraiths and Dive already.
But if you try really hard,
If you try, yeah, with enough belief in yourself, belief in the game, yeah, you too can die to False Knight.
Dirtmouth Shocks are barren. Interesting.
Yeah, Dirtmouth 2. Okay, so holding out hope for some content there, but now on math screen, let's check the important one, shall we? Hera at 18. Let's go. Grub enjoyers rejoice.
18 grubs at least are going to be safe. You love to see it.
Yeah, and math, of course, wasting no time. Like, let's go. Honestly, blue team already at 6 grubs, just right then and there, really living up to their reputations.
We've got Falcon clearing out Ancestral Mound. Maybe luring the Vengeflies over for the Georock checks. Let's see. Yeah, looks like he's kiting them over.
Yeah, and sort of a methodical crossroads clear here. It makes a whole lot of sense given how stacked crossroads is, and a white fragment.
There's a white fragment.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, but wings behind Moloch or Moloch Totem. That's huge.
Wow.
Yeah, staying in crossroads, obviously and trivially worth it when it's this stacked.
Jason and Jet continuing to clear out Green Path. Many checks in Green Path to get through. Looks like 2 more for both teams in Green Path.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't know how much wings speeds up your Green Path clear. Like, obviously it does a little bit. Oh. Was that Mantis Claw? Was that a Mantis Claw that I saw there?
It sure was.
That's important. One might describe that as major.
And one would be right.
Yeah.
Let's get
also,
those MSP in chat. Yes, please.
With Falcon at the Hot Springs bench, I don't know. It seems. I mean, you can't not clear out Crossroads. It's sticking out like a sore thumb with its 7 majors here. But Falcon walking in the other direction. It's with the seed reading of clear everything aggressively top to bottom. Blue team has earned themselves a major advantage for until presumably Falcon heads to Moloch. But also that's 2 nail arts we've seen on red team's side.
NMG, Doggo arrive.
There was a Cyclone in Ancestral Mound.
Yes.
Hidden Station Stag, also a interesting pickup. We're slowly assembling the dream. We've got Wraiths, we've got Hidden Station Stag.
Oh, we just got a dream nail as well. Where was that?
Dreamnail was at the GOM journal entry or associated checks.
Yes.
And yeah, welcome on in, friends. For those of you just joining us, we are a good way deep into the Hollow Knight All Majors Randomizer tourney. Welcome on in, grab. Yeah, we've had a content seed so far with one of our 3 dreamers behind 18 grubs, 2 forms of vertical movement in crossroads, very easily accessible, a generally stacked crossroads beside. Right now our blue team, Jettfire and Cthulhu, have the vertical movement advantage, but it looks like red team, Falcon and JasonILTG, of course short for I Love the Georocks, are going to be catching up on that pretty soon.
Is that what ILTG actually stands for?
You can't prove it's not.
Very true. But yeah, welcome on in, Raiders. Yeah, the format of this rando is called All Majors. So in addition to going for True Ending, which requires getting your Void Heart, a Dream Nail, and 3 Dreamers, we're also going for all major items in the game. That is defined as major skills, keys and key-like items, and things like that. So the tracker that you see on the right, major items remaining, tell you where those major items are, in which areas of the game. So we have our teams trying to find those major items and get to major items remaining 0 before going for the true ending of the game.
Yeah, we've it's partially feels like it's on the back of the vertical deficit that red team is at, but also it just feels like Math and Jet are a little bit more liberal with their Crystal Heart usage, which is one of those things that feels a little bit weird, especially if you have a lot of speedrun intuition and not a lot of rando intuition. Like the amount of time you can save King's Brand at Hidden Station.
Well,
but I digress. Like the walking C-dashing difference can get really stark, and so it's really good to see blue team using and abusing that C-dash. But let's check Abyss Shriek, Jet. Why don't we? Go ahead, make my day.
Abyss Shriek or Birthplace Egg.
Oh yeah, that's right. We had a full King Soul already.
Got a full King Soul. But yeah, if you're just joining us as well, in addition to the items that have been randomized in the previous matches in this tournament, our runners have also chosen 3 gimmicks. So not swim, not tear, lore tablets, and Georocks are randomized.
Alright, and Falcon is entering the Moloch room, so in a matter of time, they will have all of the same vertical. We're at about a 20 locations checked difference still. Definitely not insurmountable by any means. If blue team had found a claw-locked dash in short order, that might have been far worse, but it still seems a little bit uphill, but by no means unwinnable.
Chad points out that actually they have a full King Soul between both teams. That is correct. Red has one half and blue has the other half that you can find in Crossroads. So perhaps not Birthplace Egg at this moment, but eventually.
But I believe one of those halves was in Mound, so Math gonna grab it for blue team here.
Yes,
probably around the time that red team picks up Claw.
For Moloch, yes.
All right, and also bringing the teams to parity in their nail arts. NMG is a pretty interesting consideration. I don't know what I'd even want it to be at this point. Like, unless the third nail art is kind of buried, like Dash feels a little bit easy, you know.
So true.
Dreamer at NMG would be pretty funny.
That would be great. We know where one Dreamer is, right? At Grubs at 18.
Yep. And Jett committing to Basin. The runners were laughing in voice before the race about Basin Georocks, which, like, yeah, I get that.
Spore Shroom energy, that could be something.
Oh yeah, because our early Sporture was in the restarted on seed.
Right. Right, so major items will include keys and key-like items. So that includes Spore Shroom, Defender's Crest, Grimchild, a few other things, but.
And Jason going briefly for dashless QGA, while meanwhile Math just casually and calmly picking up Mothwing Cloak.
I completely missed that. Where was it? Was that the Georock in the lead up to Acid Grub?
Yeah, it looked like it. That Crossroads. Not quite giving me the grub seed of my absolute dreams, but still looking at this seed and seeing Crossroads 10 and having Claw, Wings, and Dash all represented among them. Also saw an elevator pass at Essence there on Falcon's screen.
Elevator pass still in Resting Grounds, 2 seeds in a row.
Like I said, we had to keep the energy going somewhere.
Very true. I did not realize you could do Queen Station Mask Shard with Claw C-Dash. Today I learned.
Yeah, Jason really demonstrating a lot of skip knowledge on their end. It's just a shame that it's getting a little bit blown up here by just full clear Crossroads and hope.
Yeah.
And making his way into Crystal Peak. Now that they have managed to work Crossroads down a fair bit, Peak looking like the nicest area to be in, holding 6 majors in total.
Pretty check dense as well. A lot of Georocks to check.
Yeah, and I mean, already operating at full movement essentially on blue team. Not much, especially in Peak, not an area notable for having major swimming sections. Not a whole lot to worry about.
Is the only movement there missing Shade Cloak?
I believe so, especially given no tier, no swim. I mean, given Math's escapades in the dark room here, one could argue Lumafly Lantern, but we know that's not going to stop him taking another attempt at it here, as Jett has moved on into Abyss to really cap off this seed. We're going to see what Lifeblood Core has, and then we're going to see the meme checks.
You really do love to see it. There's a C-Dash there from Falcon. What? Okay, today I learned.
Yeah, Red Team, well, being out of dash is obviously huge. Showing off some major C-Dash knowledge that I love.
Got Jett working his way through the Georocks in Abyss. Fragile Heart.
Now, Fragiles as Majors is a bit of a weird case, because Fragiles as Majors is a gimmick, which is an instance of the gimmicks changing a good deal about how seeds get perceived, because sometimes Divine is hiding things. Sometimes Divine is hiding things, and with the Fragiles as non-major items, it can lead to similar scenarios as the Pale Lore, where you just need to find the thing and like double back over areas. I am not aware of anyone who has selected Fragiles as majors as a gimmick across this tournament, but I am sure chat will correct me if that has been opted in for in a race I was not watching. A tram pass at the birthplace egg.
There we go. Yeah, I think there was a post recently about some stats about the gimmicks, and I do believe that that's correct, that no one's chosen Fragiles as gimmicks yet. Tram Pass.
The Tram Pass is less useful in this seed than the prior seed. I have to check the Majors display to make sure. We're down to Kingdom's Edge 2, so it's not the end-all be-all, but it is still a way into the furthest right side. And hey, we've been pretty lucky on the seed generation so far in terms of catering to a wide variety of taste here. Maybe we'll get a lot of Hive content. Who's to say?
Hive? Amazing. Alright, Falcon clearing out Crystallized Mound.
Just lore at the D-Dark check. That's always, I feels like a little bit extra infuriating, since in Rando 4 a great amount of care was put in to give NPCs and sort of these, you know, pick-up cutscenes and things, put them back into the randomizer instead of dropping shinies. And when you go through all of that for lore and not even in Twixt, it can be a bit of a letdown.
So true. Alright, Jet did just find the dupe wings in the tram-locked area of Kingdom's Edge. In addition, also finding a second fragile charm as well, so that could be helpful.
Good insurance if it comes down to that sort of doubling back, but right now, given the disparity in movement between the teams, it's looking a little bit grim on that front, and I do not mean the Bat Demon.
Grimm, so true.
Yeah, and for those on smaller screens, our check disparity, as that's a shade cloak as well for blue team. Jeez. Our check disparity has swelled slightly to about a 30 check difference.
Oh, and we got a death for math.
Just wanted to show off that Zagnite death music. Completely understandable.
So true. Setting up a shade skip, you know.
Love me some Crystal Peak shade skips.
So true.
Yeah, Jet's been focusing City, which does not seem like a bad play, but the size of City relative to its check density here means that without dash to aid them, it could be potentially dangerous for the red team getting back in this game.
We are about to see at least the first few checks at Ronnie Joe, though, so we'll see what we can find out. 22 GO first. Shop key. Wow. That's a major.
That's kind of important. Although Dirtmouth is not like super massive as far as an area, and it looks like just an arcane egg at nail 4. So update the pure nail trackers. The only benefit we get from finding those excess pale ore is, of course, the purity achievement.
Quack eternally shilling for that achievement.
I get on the mic to do two things: hope for content seeds and make tastes known, as blue team picks up another dreamer here.
Right there in Crystal Peak. We've got Jet doing the Void Heart climb. What is at Void Heart? I completely missed it.
Looks like, according to chat, there was Dash Master there, so this is this is, in my humble opinion, a specific call out for Cthulhu to remember to equip Dash Master after Jet did all this work on your behalf. And meanwhile, in nice parallelism, red team picking up Sprint Master.
And there's Grimchild, which is a major.
All right, the plot thickens. We've got lots of options on the table for our cursed Dirtmouth majors.
Thick does indeed plotten. What else is here at Crystal Heart? One more check to go.
A map.
So useful.
Shoutouts to Rando Map Mod. Just while we're on the subject of maps, and the level of precision and development that mod has seen, talking about its utility in even things like room rando before the match with some of our racers.
It's just so wonderful, and even if you're just using it to check where the checks are, obviously extraordinarily helpful if you're starting out in rando or just want to see where things are.
Yes, or for instance, you have been bullied into a Geo-Rock rando, and you never had any prior reason to know where all 250 of those suckers were.
No partner would ever forget to equip a charm their partner did some platforming for. Chris. Nothing at Leg Eater.
Yeah,
Soul refill at Shade Cloak.
We've sort of already had our fun in terms of seeing silliness at shops. It would be too much to ask for to have Leg Eater also be stacked, you know?
So true. Void
And
Heart.
there's... yeah.
Well, okay then.
That's not nothing, you know?
We did
Yeah,
just
with
get
that,
your
that's
for red though, so that's good.
good, as well as Grimchild. So yeah, actually keeping it pretty tight in terms of majors for not having a dash for this amount of time. A mere 4 major differential is hard fought and well played on red team's side.
Very true. We do have Math doing the dash strats, despite having Lantern for the Dark Room and Crystal Peak.
Don't believe there was anything too crazy in Crystallized Mound. Also curious what blue team's grub count is at this point. Oh no, I was wrong. Spore Shroom. It was just the final cutscene that was.
Yes. It's a grub count on their streams, but I think it's too small for me to tell how many they have. Love that Jettfire is using a water skin. Very true. Killer Whale is a great skin. I love the little touches with like the killer whales and things like that. It's cute.
Thank you to our restreamer for the grub updates. So blue team pretty close to that Hera as well, and I want to believe they will continue saving grubs after that point. Yes, so true. Hollow Knight community at twitch.tv/Hollow Knight community. Pet the restreamer.
Yes, chat does point out that Red is about to get their dash. The one that you can find in Crown. The other one is in a Geo-Rock in Crossroads.
Which is gonna sting once they find it, but yes. At least it gives them a way back into this.
Yes.
But meanwhile, blue team picking up Great Slash, so that is our NMG. I believe blue had all 3 of the nail arts at this point.
They do indeed. They have opened a sizable lead in terms of majors, so they're 7 ahead now, 18 to Red's 25. We'll see if that holds, we'll see what happens, especially now that Red has dash.
Yeah. And Math gonna give us the flower check. Final content avenue. I mean,
Quill.
for Quill, you gotta do it, right? Like that's
Gotta do it.
gotta be top 2
Math,
most important items in the game.
Math, why are you going away? You gotta accept the flower.
Maybe he's saving it for later.
So true, so true.
All right, and Falcon. This C-dash is dangerous. Falcon gonna see their crossroads dash here for red team.
And there it is.
That has got to sting a little bit. It sucks that it was so short after getting the first one.
Yep. A certified could have been had moment.
Yeah, but it looks like our locations checked. Still pretty much the same difference that it was.
Yeah.
Well, a little bit further, but like for not having a dash for a substantial amount of time here, red team fighting
well.
hard.
They're about to get their second half of White Fragment as well. Of King's Soul, rather. Yep. Divine with the red egg, 65 Geo.
Love the Geo Rock Rando sensibility of 65 Geo for 400 Geo. Yeah, absolutely. Sign me up for that. Money has no meaning here.
Checking Grimchild as well. Geo Rock.
But not committing to the fight. SMH.
You really do hate to see it.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Jett into White Palace. Like we were saying at the top of the race, White Palace is a pretty good call for having, like, Geo-Rock Rando, 3 White Palace checks. Place your bets now on how deep into Path of Pain this scene's gonna bury the checks.
Got Jason in Garpy Gauntlet. Getting a little bit bullied, but that's okay.
Seeing a call for 4th Soul Totem and Path of Pain. I could see that. And I don't actually know, I was wondering this earlier, I don't know if Red has checked Grubs. But given that they're at 17, I have to believe that they have.
Oh, they have the chat, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like if your name is not Cthulhu, and you haven't checked Grubs, I find it somewhat hard to believe that you would just grab 17 in the middle of a rando race.
Right, Jett continuing into White Palace, grabbing the atrium bench.
Yeah, and so far, a sparse White Palace, inching ever closer to that delicious Path of Pain content.
Math checking GG.
All right, there's one in White Palace.
Let's see what GG has.
An egg for an egg.
A single egg. Amazing.
Any delicious egg enjoyers in the chat?
Is this a GPZ seed? It very well could be.
We've seen 2 fragiles, and we have not seen TMG or GPZ. So either way, we're on track to be a certified Quacksilver Plays approved seed. I'm like a kid in a candy shop with this.
Yes, get those Chris N5 GPZs into the chat. Grey Prince Oats, any other GPZ emotes that you got?
All right, and there's not Ismas from Gorb. That
Well,
you
there
know,
you go.
that's beautiful. We still got one more in Cliff, so continuing down. I presume Falcon is going to be in a similar check pattern to Math here,
Yes.
because at this point there's no reason to stop checking a particular area until you've grabbed the majors, and Red Team in particular already knows that Nail 4 isn't anything, so they're much less likely to clear an area that has no majors in it.
D-Dark Gorb, you love to see it. Still looking for 2 majors in White Palace, so Jet continuing to clear things out. We're about to get to Path of Pain, I believe.
All right, how far are we going?
Soul Eater.
Math taking an uncharacteristic dunk in Joni's, although in his defense, it is light, which is atypical for how his normal rando behavior plays out.
So Jet not continuing Path of Pain, and instead going through the rest of White Palace.
This is interesting. What would you say is the sort of combat math on that? Because I know we've had a couple of races in this tournament where it has come down to how you divvy up White Palace and how you handle that sort of thing. This is a lot of movement for only 1-2 checks.
With Lore Tablets, it makes sense according to Chris, because you have Workshop and a few other, and right, okay, yeah, and then the Lore Tablet after the Throne. So for check density purposes, probably more stonks to continue with White Palace, and then if that doesn't pan out, then probably continuing Path of Pain from there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So okay, so shockingly, I mean, we knew Georox was going to matter as far as gimmicks go, but
Lore Tablets potentially though.
I was gonna say that White Palace lore sneaking up on you. And then No Swim Tier kind of trivialized by the fact that we had Dash Claw, Sea Dash Wings very early on in this seed. And yeah, sure enough, there's a nail upgrade back at White Palace.
So smart play from Jet here.
That is also an excellent point from chat. I'm not sure. I did not see the White Palace preview.
I was about to ask. I'm not sure what it is.
But
Soul
yeah,
refill.
I don't think it was.
All right, so it's either here. It's going to be in Path of Pain. All right.
Yeah. So we at least get some Path of Pain. And Red, meanwhile, grabbing their King's Brand.
Got Math going into Elder Who.
Famously, everyone's favorite boss.
So consistent. Great
Yeah.
boss.
Everyone say thank you, Elder Who.
So that's where Woke Nail was. Okay.
Jason been in Deep Nest for a minute here. Still 2 majors left to go.
An Elder Who has...
A
15
little
Geo.
bit of change.
Lucky from Jason in Weaver's Den.
All
That
right,
does count as a major.
that is a little bit out of the way. Also, how's our city looking? Looks like Red's got a slight edge on city, but not that many checks. I don't know how to feel. Like, Collector would be hilarious, but
Yeah, the one city major that they have up on blue is the Ronnie Joe check, right? Whatever was there.
Shocky at Nail 3, yes.
Right.
And there is Shriek from a little bit more than halfway through Path of Pain, so not going to see anything too crazy. Although, hey, you know, Shriek in the vertical room of Path of Pain, and yet you do not Shrogo up Path of Pain. Curious.
Checkmate.
I'm just saying, the seed is an intellectual. It knows what it wants. And what it wants is for you to have movement and save a ton of grubs. So, you know, we're chilling here. Jason gonna be finishing out Deep Nest with the full clear, as it looks like Jet's getting started in that arena. Now a full White Palace clear up on Red Team.
Yeah, to the question in chat, the goal is to collect all major items and then go for true ending of the game. So our runners know where the major items are. You can see the tracker on the right side in terms of the numbers and the different areas, but don't know what they are. And they need to collect all of them, get down to major items remaining 0 before they go for the true ending of the game and beat the final boss.
Yeah. Shriek at Hera. All right, that's gonna take blue team a second to get up there. So, all right. And Shade Soul at Claw.
There we go. One more major and fungal left to go.
Now, I was gonna say, we have a lot of good options left for some of these smaller major buckets here. We've got the Crossroads one is obviously that Hera at Grubs. I believe we've still got the possibility for Grim or GPZ. We've got the Mantis Lord's possibility, famously the right call. I will hear nothing to the contrary. We have the Collector and discount right call Watcher Knights potential in our remaining city bucket.
Yeah, it looks like Jason is trying to find that final major and green path. We have Math saving Bretta, so I think we're about to find out if
I was about to say, you check Bretta right away here, right? Yeah, good, correct.
Oh, we got City Crest from Jet. What do we got?
Oh,
200 Geo. Sorry.
Do it anyway.
All the GPZ lovers, I'm sorry. So what does that mean? That means Grim or the final Fragile.
Yeah, I'm guessing Fragile things here because we think the runners or the teams might be split on Dirtmouth Majors at this point. So, alas, I guess we're putting our hopes into the Mantis Lord's bucket. I would like to believe.
Oh, and there's Fragile Strength.
There's Strength.
Oh. Red already had Fragile Strength?
Red was definitely in Deep Nest a fair bit earlier because Jason has been there for basically the full clear.
Right. Got it. So if it's not divine, then...
if it's not there is something, it could be a minor major item that was behind Shopkey, which was at Nail 3, which I don't believe Blue Team has checked through yet.
Right.
We'll see. And yeah, maintaining about our 25 locations checked disparity between the teams here. Given that at this point we're, of course, at full movement, you would expect that to stay roughly where it's at, barring major mistakes, like an unfortunate death from blue team here.
The only hope left is White Defender for content.
White Defender is not out of the question. 18 Grub Hera into White Defender does make my heart flutter a little bit.
It is Waterways 1, so...
Yeah, but Waterways was... no, because Red Team has Waterways 0. Waterways was also pretty low to begin with. Yeah, I don't think this was a case of putting it off, so... Collector Mantis Lords. We will keep the we will just iterate to successively lower tiers of content, but content nonetheless.
Amazing.
There's still time. You could do GPZ for 200 Geo. It's, you know, famously very hard to come by money with these randomization settings.
Extraordinarily true. It's not like you have 250 ways of getting Geo in random places.
Yeah, but some of those places are in the Hive, and do you want to do that when you could fight Grey Prince Zod?
So true. Yeah, we are still at Kingdom's Edge. Oh, but we've cleared Kingdom's Edge with blue.
Yeah, Kingdom's Edge was not. It was a largely content deprivation. No Hive, no Kalo, no Hornet 2.
You really do hate to see it. Alright, Jett continuing the full clear of Deep Nest.
Yeah, we know that Abyss Shriek at Hera, so there's an entire, an entire beast den to get through before that full clear finishes. Then I have to assume Jett goes City after that, because it is definitely the most tantalizing of the options.
Yeah, still having 3 majors in City to go. Unbreakable Strength. Aha.
Nice to have. I mean, the Radiance fight is not a super scary fight in all majors when you are guaranteed nail 4 void spells, but making it go quicker. We have had races in this tournament come down to how fast you can kill Radiance.
Indeed. And how rude Radiance can be in with RNG patterns.
Yeah. In fact, some of these racers have been on the receiving end of such a race.
Yep. I just had a complete deja vu moment. I was like, didn't they already check the Queen Station mask chart? And then I realized I was looking at the wrong screen.
Yeah, no, we're getting the inversion here. Other team, yeah. Other seed.
Yes. All right, blue's still looking for that one major in fungal that's left. Spore Shroom, Doggo arrive.
Spore Shroom itself, like, again, I fully understand this check pattern, but given how nice the seed has been to me specifically already, at what point do you just say, okay, clearly the logical thing to do is rush Mantis Lords?
You know what the right call is.
You know what the right call is.
Spore Shroom, apparently.
Alright, we're back at Breda Bench. I believe the Lifeblood Cocoon right there would also be acceptable. Meanwhile, Red Team gonna grab their delicious egg here with Falcon and GG's hut. has Jett setting a nice safety dream gate for this spike tunnel. That's Isma spike tunnel is the rudest skip in Hollow Knight. I will not be accepting criticism or question at this time.
So true, Duxie. So true.
Right, yeah, clearing out some of the lore in Mantis Village here.
It's still making his way. Making his way. No, wrong way. Wrong way now.
This is not making his way downtown. We have been bamboozled.
But he is walking fast, and the faces are passing, so...
And that is grub number 21, proving the commitment to the craft by Blue Team.
Ooh, okay, so there's the VS pickup, which is the final major in Fungal. Unfortunately, the Mantis Lord dream is dead.
I am wounded.
Gonna intensify, so true.
And NMG also turning out to be bait. Or no, was Deathcrest NMG? I didn't see which side of Red Team picked up. They both picked up items pretty simultaneously there.
That was Falcon, I believe.
Okay, so NMG something, but not the meme dream we were hoping for here.
We had such high hopes going in. Such high hopes.
Look, Collector in a Geo-Rock seed would still be its own brand of completely wild, so...
To be fair, Decrest is a major, so...
Yeah, no, Decrest is not nothing. And Math going in for the Grim fight, so okay. Heard me psychically through the vibes, my disappointment at the lack of Mantis Lord's fight. So even though we know it's nothing, we are going to get some TMG content here on Blue Team's side. As Jason, meanwhile, going to go into Sanctum, which I think makes a lot of sense for the city clear out here. Since we've seen all 4 players avoid it thus far, which, like, understandable.
Fair, completely fair. We do have Falcon now clearing out a White Palace as well, though.
So that's going to be retreading ground for a little while. We know the deepest thing in White Palace is about halfway through Path of Pain, so that's like a non-trivial number of minutes for Falcon to be clearing that out while Jason checks through City.
So we are now into the single digits in terms of major items remaining. We've got 9 for red left, we've got 5 for blue left. Most of them in City for blue.
Yeah, and Jason looked like having a bit of a moment there in early Sanctum on 1 HP before Hell Room. Not a place you want to be.
Yes, red catching up for sure. The lead has now shrunk to 4 majors as opposed to the 7 I think we were at before.
Yeah, no. Blue made some very good seed reading calls early, but both teams have been playing very, very well.
Yes. Tech disparity has indeed grown. We're now 40 checks apart, it seems, in terms of locations checked. Yeah, blue has not checked Ronnie Joe yet, and Shopkey was at nail 3. So if Jett continues leftward after this arena, then perhaps they'll find that soon.
Yep, but at this point, you know, late into these seeds, especially a seed, right, even from red team's perspective, where red had to check out a little bit further before they got their first dash, you have to know that both teams have been operating with full movement for a very long time at this point. And at this point, it's just about coming through the areas. What is so scary to me as someone who is not myself in this tournament and has primarily engaged in rando races through the form of bingo is this is where that paranoia can start to set in about how far ahead or behind do we think the other team is? Because in an all
Right.
majors format, your team has no feedback whatsoever about the other team's progress, what they've got, what their ambitions are, where they're checking. You just have you, your teammate, and your ability to clear out these final few areas.
And hoping that you're making the right calls.
No, unfortunately, there was nothing at Mantis Lorst.
Shoutouts to custom music in Zagnite 2.0.
Absolutely took the words right out of my mouth, Grad. Shoutouts to Caffeinated Composer.
I love that you get the battle theme even for the one Soul Twister in the lead up to Sanctum. It's great.
Yeah, it's the City of Tears action team. This is also true on vanilla, although I think it is amplified with the amazing Zagnite mod. Just the City of Tears action theme goes so hard and is basically non-existent in terms of when you're actually going to like hear it and how fast you get through the arenas at the point where you actually hear it.
But then it also shows up in unexpected places, like the Pale Lurker fight apparently uses the city battle theme.
Yeah, the KE City relationship is just like weird. Um,
And we've got two majors
Elegant.
in Norman. Wow.
Wow.
Dash
Elegant
Dupe
keep
and Monomon.
putting in work here. And the other major is one that Red Team already has, which means Watcher Knights was not the right call either, I think? I don't remember where Red got there.
Shopkey.
Oh, no, Shopkey. It would be
victory.
Shopkey, yeah. It turns out the Nailsmith. Fun fact. Ronald Joseph Stenja lives in the City of Tears. The more you know. Yeah, one of those 10 crazy facts about Hollow Knight that you didn't know. Yes.
He doesn't live there for too long because then he finds love over in Greenpath, right?
Because then his residence becomes the junk pit on a permanent basis. So true, Gradstein.
Hitch, what is that emote? No.
Oh, yes.
Oh no. Oh no.
We've got beautiful, Rando giveth, Rando taketh away, but nothing can divide us harder than your incorrect opinions on the Nailsmith's face. Honored and proud to be here. So yeah, Math is gonna be chasing ghosts here in City for a little while. Although with just 3 majors remaining, and one of those being a known entity in the Dreamer at Grubbs, I can very much see why Blue Team is splitting City right now.
That's a
because
very smart move, yeah.
Yeah, it seems reasonable to hold that Dirtmouth is something fast at this point. You've eliminated all of the awful checks.
Yeah, I think Blue has had all 3 nail arts for a while now, so hopefully Shopkey will encourage him to head to Dirtmouth next.
Yeah, Blue Team pretty much in go mode here. It's gonna be maybe a minute before Blue Team gets all of the stuff they need. And Red, is this, with Jason out here, is this Red's first foray into Kingdom's Edge?
I believe so.
Because we know nothing in Kingdom's Edge was content, but depending on where Jason goes from this acid skip, they could be here for a minute, because KE was a pretty quick cleanup, but I believe Jet came through Tram.
Yes, I believe at least one of them was tram locked. There's Ronnie Joe. 20-second grub saved. You really do love to see it.
It's about sending a message. Grubs are the only souls worth saving in Hallownest. add ghost essence to the gimmicks, win.
You should have your grub quote put on a t-shirt. I would wear it.
Duly noted. And with that, blue team instantly consolidating. Yep, there's Shopkey D-Dark. And Jet is buying Stag Nest Stag?
For fun, you know.
But if we're doing things for fun at this point, it's fight GPZ. Give the people what they want. Yeah, Jason, yeah, a little bit cursed here with having full movement and good damage, so we get, like, there's no reason not to do things like Markoth now.
Alright, that is major items remaining 0 for blue.
And Falcon, just a moment away from getting the final White Palace check. We've got, like, this segment, the lever, and then it's, I believe, the Soul Totem at the start of the next room.
Oh, Jet didn't have Crossroads because math cleared that. I see. Okay. That makes sense. I was like, why is he going through Stagnus?
And there's the THK scream, first one. I am very curious what major is missing for red team in green path. We know where the city ones are. We know KE was non-content.
Yes, I can't remember what areas of green path red has not covered yet.
Yeah, because in particular, I assume one of those three is Elegant Key, because Jason did Sanctum already.
Right. Yeah, and that's where those two city majors are, yes. Alright,
So,
math
yeah,
first to enter the Radiance fight.
Yep. Get good, as they say. And yeah, if you've never seen an all majors race before, blink and you will miss these final boss fights, because it turns out when you have literally everything as far as damage goes in the game, you are meant to be
quickly.
You are meant to be challenging the absolute form of this boss at that point. Especially with the combined thousands of hours of experience these runners all have.
No one has ever died to the Radiance in the All Majors tourney. So true, Ode.
Yeah,
so true.
Don't get me wrong, the Moth is still quite threatening, but when you pop the Moth, you pop the Moth very quickly. Yeah, and that's already a climb for Math.
And second major phase for Jet. We have Jason continuing to clear out upper Kingdom's Edge.
Yeah, it's sort of all eyes on Jason's screen here, because without E-Key in their possession, which I still have to conclude is true, we know that Falcon's just sort of aimless in City right now.
That is a GG for Math.
Yep.
And underclass GG for Jet as well.
Good game to the blue team, advancing on the loser's side.
So that means that Jet and Math will be advancing to the loser's top 8. It looks like their matchup is going to be against Calypso and Staxis for their next match.
Ooh, that is sure to be a content match for sure. That is a group of people that loves to do some quite arcane skips, and given the sort of industry standard no tier, no swim as a gimmick offering, I would be shocked if that wasn't a major consideration for those four.
All right, we have Falcon doing the Watcher Knights fight. We did just pick up Elegant Key from Jason.
Ah, yes, there we go. So yeah, trying to get a dash timeline for blue team here, because I when you look at the match, that's got to be what the difference was by and large. Moth and Cloak, 14 minutes in, full movement.
Wow.
Dive, like 2 spells, C-dash, both vertical and dash by 14 and a half minutes into this in a Geo-Rock seed for blue team. What a seed, folks.
That being said, though, I mean, the disparity was never quite that huge between red and blue in terms of major items, but in terms of checks, it sort of grew between 20 to 40. All right, we've got Falcon at Lurien, opting not to get that Wanderer's Journal.
Understandable this late into affairs. Probably don't have time for those. Unless, of course, it's GPZ. There is always time to fight Grey Prince Zevt.
So taking stock of where red is at, we're looking for one more major in KE. We know where the Crossroads major is. The 2 in City are behind E key, which they now have.
Yep, and so I'm really curious about what the Green Path major is that they missed. I don't recall seeing Shio on either side,
No.
further proving my Nailsmith rhetoric. But I
cannot
so
remember.
I don't think it was anything particularly spicy in Green Path. As Jason looks like struggling a little bit with the water skip to the Pale Lurker Idol. Opting to go for the fight first so as to keep checking areas.
So we have Falcon going up the tram-locked area, so about to find the other KE major, I believe. There it is.
There's the dupe wings. And Jason
going to
immediately turning around for the E key. Very good read. At this point, I don't know what else in City was waiting for them, but yep, they're both there. Sometimes rando be like that. So it is just a question of hunting down this Green Path major. Not where I expected the seed to wind up
for sure.
On the denouement here.
Falcon going from cliffs?
Yeah, without Green Path Stag, I don't know. Because Jason must have left Green Path kind of early-ish to go to Peaks, I want to say?
Yeah.
Yep, alright. Hera Grubs and 1 Green Path Major. And yeah, Jason warping back immediately.
Going for Un.
Yeah, this was an incredibly fast and an incredibly funny seed. A great, a shining example of Geo-Rock nonsense and general rando nonsense beside in a great many forms, even if I am a little disappointed. No GPZ, no Lords, no Collector, not even a measly White Defender.
But you know, fast seed kind of works out for me because I've been asleep for the past 2.5 hours, so it works out nicely for me. Alright, we've got a Hornet fight from Falcon. yours, Jason?
Oh, because Jason...
What is happening right now? Oh.
Interesting. Perhaps a breakdown in communication between... Or are we just both trying this? Have we cleared out everything else in Green Path? Is it just we're both going to take swings at unskip here?
Apparently. And whichever runner gets it first, I guess.
All right. Place your bets. For the glory. For the glory of On.
Let's start a poll in chat. Who will get it first, Falcon or Jason?
Falcon opting to use Shriek there.
There we go.
Love to see it.
Nice. Was it even at Un? That's a great question.
We're trying to establish the timeline of what Jason already checked in Green Path, and I don't recall what they did. Because I do not remember the Green Path majors being hugely noteworthy.
So Jason, I think, opting to head to Black Egg.
Yeah, I mean, if both players are doing it, you have to assume that this is where it is. No, it's not. Someone missed a Geo-Rock, methinks.
Are we about to get some map mod content? Or tracker, true. Yeah, it could be a little tablet, it could be a Geo-Rock.
That's gotta be such a panic-inducing moment.
Yep.
Team randos are stressful. Well, if you do not yourself play randomizer, it is hard to. Oh, the Stig. There's that Geo-Rock. It is such an adventure to be constantly in communication with a partner about where you've been, what you're doing, what you're up to, what you think is happening next. It's absolutely an endeavor of the highest order. But with that, we're going to get Red Team into the Black Egg Temple at more or less the same time. Going to get two final Radiance fights here to close out an excellent match between these two teams here.
Get those Hollow Ds in chat. Let's go. Holy particle effects, Batman.
Yeah, the THK can be a little bit of a particly lad.
Alright, self-stab phase for Jason and for Falcon.
Alright, and almost synced Get Goods. Or Gets Good?
What would it be? I guess...
I feel like Get Good is one word, essentially.
Yeah, that makes sense. Gets goods. You know? You have a point there, Chad. Alright, into the Radiance fight we go for both runners.
Okay, pretty neck and neck Radiance here. Jason a little bit ahead into platform phase.
More a matter of RNG than anything else. Falcon's Radiance being caught in an attack when the center arena opened up.
But Jason getting an instant teleport in phase 2. Falcon getting a slightly less bad one. Oh, we gotta climb on the left side.
Wow.
Oh, this is tight, actually. Hold up.
Yeah. And GG to
Oh,
Falcon.
Jason with the dunk right there. You hate to see it. GG to Falcon. And with that final underplat, GG to Red Team.
All right.
So in just a few moments, we're going to pull some folks in here for a post-match interview. But thanks for hanging out with us for this lovely race. Probably the last race for a minute or two we're going to see in this tournament with Georox randomized. Just a sneaking suspicion on my part, but I'm sure we'll be able to hear more from the runners about that choice and how it impacted their play in just a second.
Hello.
All right. Hello, runners. Welcome on in.
GG
GG's.
runners.
GG's all.
Forgive me if I'm a little bit annoyed.
No
Missing the
worries.
dash is really, really. I was like, it's basically over at that point.
The place where you got your dash and then immediately checked left crossroads. We were wincing on the mic. That is a rough beat in rando history.
Yeah, it looks like a
How
13
late were we
minute
to dash?
discrepancy there.
Yeah.
13 minutes? Oh, that's forever.
Yeah, that's quite a while. Dang. You guys just
Yeah,
skipped the left.
Just get the one Geo Rock, and then I'm just like, ugh. Because I really wanted to go resting grounds because we had the C dash, and then I found both claw and wings, and I was like, oh, I mean,
Yeah. Shout outs officially now with all of you on the call to Chris for this seed. Absolute comedy. I saw Crossroads 10 and I was freaking out.
Yeah, literally full
surprising to
movement in
see, like,
Crossroads.
2 KE.
Yeah, 2 KE, 10 Crossroads. It was C dash, wings, claw, dash, like absolutely wild. I think there were probably some spells there too.
And yet only one of those checks at Grubs. Curious.
None at
Zero.
Silver.
Yay.
yeah.
Quack in shambles.
And just constantly. But also the White Palace gaming on both sides. We were talking about how White Palace 3 was a little noteworthy given Geo Rocks on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lore
I mean,
helps
White Palace
balance it
always
out
has 11 picks, right?
slightly. Yeah, I think it's like 20 some checks with lore. I don't remember exactly, but it's like KE has like literally 4 times as many checks with Georox, and it had less majors somehow. So yeah, we got
right.
White Palace content, I guess.
Yeah, and of course that heartbreaking elegant key being.
Yes.
You always hate to see when things group up behind these little keys.
Shop key and nail 3 as well, being particularly rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of last checked that for City because we just cleared it and like condensing onto Nailsmith.
Yeah. At least Jet got it before I actually fought Tyrant.
Shout out to Unskip though. We forgot the Geo Rocks existed. So we were like, oh, it must be Un. And Jason can't do Unskip, so I had to go do Unskip.
I
And then
didn't
it was Lore, and I was like,
the Georox existed. I like bookmark in my head like I'm gonna come back for these Georox, and then I forgot to come back for the Georox. And like
I did the race version, which was super nice because we had shelter. I think you need 4 because you can't lose height when you're doing Unskip.
Yeah, I
was trying with
talking to
VS
Jet and watching while you were doing it. Yeah, with VS, it's definitely doable with even just 2. But with Wraiths, I didn't even know it was possible. And then you pulled out the 4 Wraiths unskip. So GG.
Yeah, because you can't lose height, otherwise you just automatically go into the acid. So you have to do it really, really early, which means you don't get as much horizontal distance. So you have to you pretty much need 4. I'm pretty sure.
There were quite a few skips on from the red team that at least 3 or 4 times throughout the race I was like, that's a skip. There's a C dash there. What's going on?
That's a C dash, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shout outs to my first try Ancestral Mound Whispering Root Vengefly Pogo.
That was gaming. Absolutely gaming. and rewarded with a white fragment.
True.
Yeah, and the early King Soul Hidden Station Stag brand. Salivating.
Birthplace egg.
Oh,
Chef's
did you
kiss.
guys go for the Dash Master at Void Heart?
I
Well, I don't think we
marked
ever
down-
got
okay.
it.
I forgot to put on King Soul, so I put down a Dream Gate, and then I got to the journal entry, and it gave me Void Heart, and I was like, "Oh, this is too free," so I just Dream Gated back with the Void Heart equipped,
Oh, and then you were done with checks. So
and
you
then I
didn't
was done with the checks, and I was like,
Makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Jet found the Dash Master, and we were like, I think it's worth because it was pretty early that Jet went to Abyss.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we had the Dash Master for like the second half of the seed, but at the cost of Void Heart, like the Void Heart climb for obviously not a major. I think it's probably worth, but I was curious if you had the same choice. But
"No,
just too smart the way you clear it.
Sometimes you just have to get the items you need while you're in the middle of doing unrelated things. A phenomenon that no one on this call is familiar with, I am sure.
Of course not.
Shout outs to something very weird that happened to me in city storerooms, like the low city storerooms. You know the Ravas that dash at you or like that charge at you? One of them charged the other direction from where I was standing. I C dashed in the same direction and I killed the Rava by hitting it 3 times with the same C dash without breaking the C dash.
Oh my god. Okay, I need to see a clip of that. That's fantastic.
It was amazing. Makes up for the loss, clearly.
Look, it's about sending a message. It's about styling in Hallowness.
All about the swag.
Something like that.
All right, so with that, this is where the bracket run of Falcon and Jason is going to come to an end, but seriously admirable play, especially with the dash differential. And
Absolutely.
Jet and Math going to advance to losers top 8 to fight Calypso and Staxis. So we are left with just bracket killers upon bracket killers. In fact, our next scheduled stream match appears to be a winner semis match between Valiaden and Tim Quado, which is gonna be huge.
And it looks like that match is happening this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So translate that into your time zone of choice. But that will be happening this Saturday.
Quick warning though, I think they might be rescheduling the restream of that potentially. So
Apologies.
keep an eye on the schedule if you are interested in catching that match. It may come to a restream at a slightly later date. I'm not sure if that was decided yet, but there was some talk this morning.
Cool.
yeah."
Thank
That's
you
his
for the
internet
intel.
was not functional.
I see.
You
Well, in that
hate
case,
when that happens.
keep an eye out for that then.
Yeah, and of course, be sure to follow. We've got so many links to drown you all in. Be sure to follow HK Tournaments, the web app, for the schedule, as well as, of course, the Small Homothety Organization website, and this very Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Hollow Knight Community, which does tournaments and exhibition races and all sorts of things besides.
All right. Any final thoughts or comments from the runners?
I blame Jason for randomizing Georocks. Georocks were a mistake.
Music to my ears.
I blame myself, and it was wonderful.
True.
You had
You
to
blame
do
yourself.
it,
You would do it again.
and we love you for it. Yes.
Yep, 100% of the time.
Yeah, Jason, the person responsible for Geo Rock Rando in the first place, by the way. So.
Oh yes,
Indeed.
we shout out to that original plan though.
Yes.
All right. GG's, everybody. Thanks so much. Thanks, chat, for hanging
GG.
around. Thank you to Chris for the restream.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.